Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, Nikki Cross. Now y'all know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Alexa Bliss. Fine on the mic, great control, great character work, not good in the ring. Nikki Cross is fine. In no just world, in no unknown and known universe would Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross ever defeat. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, October. It is not October, it is March 25th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I thought I was ready. I'm hoping to get ready. Jeremy Pierce, welcome, one and all. And as always, you know you can catch me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter. Got back from seeing a sneak preview of the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Check it. That's out. There will be plenty of movie reviews going up in the next couple of days. John Wick review was already live. But for today's show here on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, we're going to talk about why WrestleMania moments mostly don't matter. It's a little tied to last week's show, but for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. I will not be before you very long today, so let's just dive into the news. If you've been watching Raw, SmackDown, you've noticed a lack of Bray Wyatt, a lack of Bobby Lashley. Well, it looks like Bray Wyatt will be off the card and Bobby Lashley will be getting a new match. Bray Wyatt, once again, is dealing with an unrelated health issue. Now, I wish him the best, but Bray versus Bobby just never, ever made sense. Now he will be back because, as you know, they invested a lot of time into his return, so we'll have to just wait and see what's next for him. WWE, they want to pause a WrestleMania fan injury lawsuit. WrestleMania 38 took place at AT&T Stadium in Austin, Texas, and a fan was injured. He filed a lawsuit against the WWE as he lost hearing in one of his ears due to the show, and he wants compensation. The WWE are looking to delay the lawsuit and move it into the District Court of Northern Texas. So we'll keep you posted on that. Monday Night Raw saw an increase in their ratings this past week. They did 1.77 million viewers with a 0.555 in the 18 to 49 demo. That's slightly up from last week in both the viewership and the demo. So look, we're on our way to WrestleMania. Viewership needs to be rising. Excalibur and Paul London are both set for the GCW Game Changer Wrestling Hall of Fame. They will be joining Christopher Daniels, Cheerleader Melissa, Jimmy Jacobs, and Mike Modest. This is just really, really good. You know these names. I know these names. Let's go. You know, Paul London, he sparked the famous "Please Don't Die" chant during his match against Michael Shane at Ring of Honor Unscripted. Dynamite this past week saw a nice size boost in ratings. They did 954,000 viewers with a 0.33 in the 18 to 49 demo. Now, I think part of this has to do with the dream match, which we'll go over a little bit later. We know Mercedes Moné's next IWGP Women's Championship defense, as she will be defending the championship against AZM and Hazuki at New Japan. Sakura Genesis also in their car. Zack Sabre Jr. will be defending his championship. David Finlay and Kenta and El Phantasmo will be in action. Okada will be defending the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Sanada. AEW looks like they made just under $100,000 with their House Rules event and ticket sales. Not bad. This was their first time testing out a AEW house show, and well, more will be on the horizon. In some crappy news for Impact Wrestling, Josh Alexander has torn his triceps, and he immediately had to relinquish the Impact World Championship. It sucks. He was supposed to be defending the championship at Rebellion, so we will be getting a new champion when Steve Maclin and Kushida face each other for the interim championship. Not interim championship, for the vacant championship. I'm sorry. Josh is the longest reigning Impact World Champion, and it sucks that his reign had to end like this. Injuries happen. It sucks. Kairi Sane, you know her, I know her, I love her, is a free agent. She can go anywhere she likes, whether that's to stay in Japan, whether it's to go to the US. And SmackDown saw a nice little viewership this past week with a 2.12 million viewership and a 0.53 and the 18 to 49 demo. That's pretty much the same as last week. And if you've been living under a rock, CM Punk posted something on Instagram in his Instagram story in a rant, and this man is slowly starting to go away. He'd essentially talked about how his feud with Moxley was supposed to be like Rocky 3, and he didn't want to compromise his health to come back for the squash match. If you guys haven't seen Rocky 3, essentially the Rocky 3 is Rocky faces Clubber Lang, Mr. T, and gets absolutely destroyed. So then he goes and trains, gets better, and then faces Mr. T again. That's what was supposed to happen with Punk. Gets squashed by Mox, trains, gets better, and then defeats him at, All Out, I believe. So yeah, he just wasn't with it. Now there's heat between Mox and Punk, and if you got a heat with Mox, then you're doing something wrong. Dude's pretty much a professional, and Punk is tired of the drama. Putting on Instagram once again during the story that he's too old for this. And listen, he called out Jericho, he called out Mox, he called out Tony Khan, and Jericho's not having any of it. He's annoyed. And look, the Punk considered legal action after the All Out Brawl Out, but he didn't. And he's not cleared for injury just yet. He was supposed to be cleared already, but it looks like there's still some things he's got to work out, and it's just not a good look. Essentially, I don't know what's next for Punk, but he's not doing himself any favors. That's the news. We'll be right back. We had ourselves a nice little week in wrestling. Impact held there was a Sacrifice pay-per-view. So let's just dive into Monday Night Raw, or as I like to call it, as the Bloodline. In terms, we open up with Sami and KO. And they won tag team title shots at WrestleMania. The Usos come out, they draw a little bit, and they finally accept. They didn't consult the wise men, nor did they consult Roman Reigns. They then brawl, but they escape, get away from KO and Sami right as Roman Reigns arrives, and then Jay and Roman, they're gaslighting each other now. Roman tries to, reel Jay back in, thanking him for joining the Bloodline, tells him that he loves him, and Jay saying, he blames someone for keeping him apart, for making him do the things that he did and making him angry, and then he says it was Sami Zayn. So we're getting there. We're getting Austin Theory's defeat Montez Ford, Omar Squash, Mustafa Ali. We had an Impulsive TV segment. Logan Paul finally is leaning into his him being a dick, him being a douche, and it ends with Seth crashing impulsive TV messing with the sounds and everything, and then they brawl, and then Logan Paul punches Seth once again, laying him out. Dominic Mysterio defeated Johnny Gargano, and he'll go to SmackDown and get his match with Ray. Edge wants the Demon at WrestleMania, so it looks like we're going to get Demon Finn versus Brood Edge at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley had her promo interrupted by Damage Control, which leads to a match between Bayley and Rhea. And essentially what happened was Rhea talked about Charlotte being, trash, not a leader, this, that, and the third. And Bayley and Damage Control comes out. Bayley's like, listen, I've defeated Charlotte at WrestleMania. Why don't you ask me for pointers? So they have a match. Rhea wins with an assist from Lita, Trish, and Becky. We'll see where this goes. She acknowledges, the legends in Becky, whereas we continue the 6-woman feud. Chad Gable finds Otis during a photo shoot, finally gets him to come to the ring with him for his match, but Otis leaves, leaving with Maxine Dupree once again, and Chad Gable loses his match to Ricochet. Asuka and Bianca Belair defeated Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Carmella wasn't there for some reason. Asuka attacks Bianca after the match. This feud sucks. And in the main event segment, Cody and Roman have added. Roman runs down Cody once again, but this time Cody's got something from yo, I want to make you remember what it's like to lose. And then once you lose those championships, Jay leaves you, and Roman and Jimmy leaves you, and your wise man goes back to being an advocate. And Solo's just staring Cody down. Cody's like, listen, you think you're ready. You're not ready. You're not. And they leave, and Solo has had enough, goes to give Cody a Samoan spike, but Cody gets the upper hand. That puts some heat on this feud. That right there. Now that's delicious. Over on Dynamite, we have a mystery who attacked the Young Bucks. So the show opens up with the Young Bucks being loaded into the ambulance and taken away. Heyman Page goes with them, while Callis wants Kenny to stay and focus on this match later in the evening. Later, Kenny said he wanted to go check on the Young Bucks, but Don, listen, you have to focus on being a singles wrestler again. Orange Cassidy, Sting, and Darby Allin defeated the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. I'm hoping Butcher Blade finally get a good push, man. I'm tired of them losing matches. Darby Allin is focused on Double or Nothing, coming for that World Championship along with the other pillars. The Guns defeated Top Flight, retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championship after the Kingdom gets involved. FTR comes out and challenges the Guns for the belt, saying that if they lose, they'll quit AEW. Hook defeats Stokely Hathaway in just a fun match, man. Stokely knows what he's doing, and it's good that he's going opposite somebody like Hook, who's all serious but also knows how to have fun and wrestling. This was just great. This was just great for everybody. Adam Cole comes out and he's talking about he's gonna get ready to have his next match back, his first match back, and Daniel Garcia challenges him, comes out, says, listen, yo, I want the match. And he slips up, calls himself a pro wrestler. Then he had to correct himself, call himself a sports entertainer. Adam Cole accepts. John Moxley defeated Stu Grayson. And listen, this feud between Mox and the Dark Order and the BCC, Hangman Page, it is not over. We had a QTV segment, which is fun. Listen, I enjoy QTV. I don't know what y'all want from them, but this feud between Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow is far from over. Tony Storm defeats Sky Blue, and it feels like Sky Blue is facing everybody in the Outcast every week and constantly losing. It's time to elevate Sky Blue to get her some wins. The Outcast try to attack her after the match, but Willow and Hijo come out to make the save. And where were they? Sometimes that's some of the things that annoys me. AEW sometimes does really stupid things to just tell the story. The Outcasts were all there, Tony, Saraya, and Ruby, but Sky Blue was out there by herself, and Willow and Hijo were just in the back. That doesn't make sense. The BCC, they attacked Stu Grayson backstage in the main event in our dream match. Kenny Omega defeats El Hijo del Vikingo, and just, oh my God, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful match. The BCC attacks Kenny after the match, and Hangman arrives in an ambulance to stop them. Don Callis fakes like he got hit by Hangman. Now, do we know for a fact if Kenny watches the show? Because Jericho's made it known that he watches the show. Other people have made it known that he watched the show. So we'll see what happens next week. Over on Impact, we had our go-home show for Sacrifice. Time Machine defeated the Design. The Coven says that the Death Dials were wrong, and they proved them wrong. Deonna Purrazzo defeats Team Shaw. She defeated Savannah Evans, and the Team Shaw attacked her after the match, and they stood tall. The Death Dials aren't scared of the Coven, and Taya gets written off of TV as she was taken into a coffin. Masha Slamovich and Bully Ray defeated Mickie James and Tommy Dreamer. Jordan Grace made the save, but accidentally speared Mickey. Moose and Brian Myers defeated Joe Hendry and Dirty Dango. And in the main event, we had a nice little conversation between Josh Alexander and Steve Mack. But as you all know, Josh Alexander is no longer the world champion as he is injured and has to relinquish the belt. So we go to Sacrifice, and it's a really, really good show because that's what Impact does. Speedball Mike Bailey defeated Jonathan Gresham. Joe Hendry retained the Impact Junior Media Championship over Brian Myers. Mickie James can't compete tonight or at Multiverse United, but she will still remain champion because her injury doesn't seem as super serious. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Gisele Shaw. Tasha Steelz returns and fights off Team Shaw, so Tasha Steelz is a face now. PCO defeats Kenny King. Trey Miguel retains the X Division Championship against Lindsay Dorado. The Bullet Club defeated TMDK. Bully Ray defeats Tommy Dreamer, but Scott D'Amore gets the last laugh, hitting one of Tommy Dreamer's men with a Canadian destroyer. And Time Machine in the main event defeats Steve Maclin, Rich Swann, and Frankie Kazarian. Over on Ring of Honor, Mark Briscoe defeats Tony Nese. AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Grand Metalik. Well, Metalik defeats the Trustbusters. Sky Blue defeated Lady Frost. Roosh and Jalisco squash a tag team. We had a sit-down interview between Eddie Kingston and Claudio, and we're playing up on all the history from them in Ring of Honor, from them in Chikara, and Eddie will finally get his championship match. Matt Taven defeats Darius Martin with an assist from Maria Bennett. Brian Cage defeats Tony Deppen. The Embassy attacked after the match until AR Fox and his crew came and make the save for Tony Deppen. Shane Taylor defeated Silas Young in a nice hard-hitting match. Billy Starks, another young female prodigy in wrestling, defeated Miranda Elise. And in the main event, Aussie Opens defeats Christopher Daniels. But apparently there was a Samoa Joe Open Challenge. Joe squashes Cheeseburger and just goes to beat him up until Mark Briscoe comes out to make the save. Over on SmackDown, the Usos finally strike back. Cody Rhodes defeats Ludwig Kaiser. He tells Solo Heyman that he's ready and he isn't afraid of the bloodline. Charlotte Flair says Charlotte Flair things, leaned a little bit into the heel. Her persona LA Knight defeats Rey Mysterio after Dominic Mysterio gets involved. Dom challenges his dad one more time. Rey declines, so Dom decides to run down his mom and sister who are in the front row, and he just rips them apart. Rey comes back, punches Dom, and accepts the match. So we finally got this going on. It was great to see Rey finally put his son into his place. Shotzi Blackheart and Ty defeated Lacey Evans and Zaya Lee to qualify for the WrestleMania showcase match. Liv and Raquel Rodriguez, who are also in the match, were there at ringside to squabble. And then Ronda Shayna came out and just said, like, yo, we're in the match. We don't have to qualify. Nothing makes sense. Why is it that the women have to qualify for the match, but the men don't? It's just weird. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre jaw at each other during the contract signing. Gunther says the match is stupid, and why can't he lose the championship if he doesn't get pinned? He'll say he'll do whatever he needs to win. How is Gunther a heel? He tells you the rules, he tells you like it is, and it's just honest. I don't get it. Gunther defeats Butch, and then Drew laid him out with a Claymore. In the main event segment, we had a KO show. It ends with the Usos getting the upper hand, hitting, I believe, the 1D on Sammy, and KO running them off. No Rampage tonight, as it will be coming on tonight. Well, no Rampage last night, as it will be coming on tonight after college basketball. So that'll be moved to next week, our matches of the week. And our matches of the week from Dynamite, Jon Moxley versus Stu Grayson. Also from Dynamite, Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo. From Impact, Time Machine versus the Design. From Sacrifice, Mike Bailey versus Jonathan Gresham. Deonna Purrazzo versus Gisele Shaw. Time Machine versus Steve Maclin, Frankie Kazarian, and Rich Swann. From Ring of Honor, Aussie Open versus Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. These were all great matches. Once again, nothing from the WWE this week, and it just feels a little weird. I mean, once again, we had no Bray Wyatt, we had no Bobby Lashley, but AEW and Impact are just putting on great, shows. And our star of the week, I have to give it to El Hijo del Vikingo. We got our dream match. This kid is amazing, y'all. If you haven't seen him, if you haven't heard of him, go check him out. Go check out this match against Kenny Omega, and he'll be taking on Commander at Super Card of Honor. That's the weekend review, and we'll be right back. I'm not going to be before you very long, and I wanted to touch on WrestleMania moments. For years and years and years now, we've been hearing about how everybody wants to make their WrestleMania moments. They want to leave their mark, leave an indelible mark. And we're starting to be conditioned into believing that it's not about the win. It's not about the loss. It's about the moment. And yes, making moments are great in sports and sports entertainment and life and movies. Moments are everything. Moments are what we remember. But do we remember how we got to that moment? Do we remember the aftermath of that moment? So I wanted to talk to you today all about why WrestleMania moments mostly don't matter. And I put the caveat in there of mostly, because I'm a little bit old school. I'm a little bit new school. I'm a very, very nice amalgamation of it all. And yes, I remember the moments. I remember Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit hugging. I remember The Undertaker returning at WrestleMania 20. I remember Bryan Danielson celebrating winning the World Championship. I remember Kofi Kingston celebrating his lone WWE Championship victory with the New Day. Those are moments. Those are moments that we remember, that we cherish. But then you have moments that, do they really, really mean anything? Do they... Let's start with something that's been on my mind for WrestleMania. So remember our last two shows, we were looking at WrestleMania matches and who should have won, right? And that can that can also just be an add-on to this show. So I'll start with Ryback. We know Ryback. Ryback was on his way to being a star, right? And at WrestleMania, he was facing Mark Henry. Now you would think that Ryback would win the match, that Ryback would make his mark and be here to stay. Now we're not going to look at the here and the now. We're going to look at that match. Mark Henry won the match, and I remember watching it, thinking to myself, you guys are trying to make, Ryback a new star, maybe make Ryback the new Goldberg, but he lost. He lost the match. But it was about making a moment. So he gives Mark Henry, after the match, he gives Mark Henry a shell shock. That was the moment. That was the moment for Ryback. But ultimately, what did that moment prove? Because he lost the match and didn't do anything after that. Here's another moment. Booker T, Boogeyman, and Booker T lost that match. We talked about that. But Boogeyman kissing Charmel the Worms. That was the moment. That's what we were supposed to remember about that match. Not the fact that the Boogeyman defeated Booker T at WrestleMania. But again, it's about the moment. Here's a moment in a match that has stakes. See, when you sprinkle in the moments to accentuate the match, the moments will matter more. So, believe it was the first match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The moment is The Undertaker going for a tope and overshooting Michaels, and Michaels pulls the cameraman, who was, I believe, Sim Snuka, in the way. Cameraman was supposed to catch Taker, he didn't. That could have ended tragically. That's the moment. It was part of a larger story that HBK would do whatever he could to defeat The Undertaker. Let's go to Sting versus Triple H. Sting just wrestled this past week on Dynamite. Looked great because, he's fucking Sting. But his match versus Triple H wasn't even a match. It was about the moment. What moment? The arrival of DX, the arrival of the NWO. DX helping Triple H and the NWO helping Sting. That's supposed to be important. But why would the NWO help Sting? They're enemies. They are blood enemies, rivals. But it was meant to finally get DX and the NWO in the ring with each other for the first time ever. That was supposed to be the moment, but the moment didn't matter because you made Sting not matter. Every week now on the road to WrestleMania, you hear Michael Cole talking about getting your WrestleMania moments. But there are better moments that help accentuate the story. Y'all remember HBK WrestleMania 12 coming in from the gliders at the Arrowhead Pond, just sliding down to the ring, or WrestleMania 17 when Linda McMahon got out of that wheelchair. See, those are moments. Those are moments that have meaning. It's another moment. This moment accentuated the match. Match didn't even start yet, but seeing The Rock and Hulk Hogan face off against each other, beautiful. There's your moment. Because if you turn the sound off, the match isn't great, but the crowd it elevated that match, and they elevated that moment. See, moments matter when the story matters. This past week on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio finally gave in and punched his son, Dominic Mysterio. Dom's been trying to get this match with his father for weeks now, and has been taunting him, pushing him ever so close to the edge, and Rey finally gave in after Dom went at his mom and his sister, and then Rey punched him. That's a moment that when you tell the story means something. We all know what the greatest wrestling promo package is in history. It's My Way or the Highway, Rock, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 17. Everything leading up to that match, beautiful. Them singing to each other, them toasting each other with beer, them doing each other's finishers on each other. That led up to WrestleMania 17. Beautiful, beautiful moments. But what do we remember about that match? Stone Cold and Vince McMahon teaming up. Yeah. So did that moment mean something? That two blood rivals finally teamed up to take out The Rock? Because just to let you all know, that heel turn for Stone Cold didn't last long. He had a much better heel turn when he was a part of the two-man power trip. So we can have our WrestleMania moments, but they have to mean something. Edge spearing McFoley through that burning table. That's a great moment. You know why I say a great moment? Because the story called for it. You know, it was a crappy moment. Charlotte tapping out Asuka, ending her undefeated streak. What? Because that moment is garbage because Asuka didn't benefit from it. The beauty about moments in professional wrestling is they really should benefit everybody. Somebody can't be on just the straight losing end. We have to pay attention. And we have to say, hey, stop telling us that it's just about the moment. Stop telling us that the match doesn't matter. We're getting the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. And this feud involving the Bloodline, involving Cody Rhodes, Sami, KO. There are moments all sprinkled throughout. And we just had one 2 weeks ago with Sammy and KO finally coming back together. That moment will lead to another beautiful moment of, if they defeat the Usos for the Tag Team Championships. I can go on and on and on. WrestleMania 15, one of the worst WrestleManias in history. Remember Big Boss Man being hung from the Hell in a Cell? Moments. It's the moment we're supposed to remember. And yet, we remember it, but we don't remember because it was good. I want more. I want more than just a moment. And yes, recently we've had some good moments, but honestly, they're not great moments. Now, whatever goes down between Cody and Roman, that will have some good moments. That will be a good moment. We can see some returns at WrestleMania. Even better moments. We have to start learning that wins and losses matter. We have to get the WWE to start treating wins as losses as something important. Prime example is, for the last couple of weeks, even months, we've been getting Solo Sikoa matches. Who hasn't been pinned? But he's faced KO, he's faced Sammy, he's faced Sheamus, he's going to face Cody on Monday. You're giving us these matches where they should mean more, because we're going to get a good moment when Solo finally gets pinned. So at WrestleMania, when you're watching WrestleMania night 1, night 2, these matches, pay attention. Will we be getting more beneficial matches, or will we be getting just moments? Y'all let me know. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I greatly appreciate it. Next week's show, we will be looking at the importance of Mania-like shows. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter, and as always, Shotzi Blackheart, Zia Lee, Willow Nightingale, Bailey, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.